The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Ladies and gentlemen and government officials who work in the 6th floor, welcome to the June 7th edition of Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Patrick.
And I'm CJ.
And Mayor, if you'd like to call in, you know the number.
He never does, though.
No.
Right off the bat, I want to get into an article that appeared in the Herald News about millennials say you can make it in Fall River. And it was interesting because this morning when we started, we were asking, were these people on...
They're the investors of Snow Owl.
Yeah, were they investors of Snow Owl at some point? But I think what was more important was the fact that you and I noticed something almost immediately in this article.
Yeah, there's no Cambodians.
And a member of the Herald News Community Advisory Board even said that this is a sexist and racist article. It seems you can only make it in Fall River as a millennial if you're a white male. There were no Afro-Americans, there were no Hispanics, there were no Cambodians, and there were no women. None. And I have to really ask myself, is this what our local media outlets are doing? They're being racist and sexist? And again, that's my opinion. That's my perception of this. Because when I looked at this article, initially I didn't see it because I didn't want to, not because I couldn't. But when you look at this, you have to say, these millennials are saying there's a lot of hidden potential in Fall River. Yeah, there's a lot of hidden potential in Fall River, especially when Safe Site comes here, which we'll get into later in the show. But that was Mr. Shane Pacheco, 22. A marketing specialist for the Diocesan Health Services and an account executive for R4L Management. Pacheco says it's unfair that his generation has been labeled as lazy and said he sees his peers as creative thinkers and doers. That's just another word for lazy, Mr. Pacheco.
Yeah, and they still live in their parents' basement.
Exactly. They're all still, right. They're all living in their parents' basements. They're not doing anything. They're not working on getting anything done.
Except the mayor. He lives upstairs from the bar.
Right, but up until that point, he lived in his parents' basement. No, I'm not saying these kids aren't, and you'll notice I refer to them as kids, aren't creative. Yeah, they try to create new ways to do less and less work. All right, they all, grab a hold of the pipe dream, the multi-level marketing scams, the Snow Owl scams, and they think they're going to make something of themselves. For instance, R4L, a management solution and administrative support company, located its offices in the Quequechan Club, may be an example of one of those hidden away companies. What do they do?
The Quequechan Club is also the home to the Highland Senior Citizens Daycare, too.
Right.
So, I mean, what is that, a new place that anybody can start a business?
Yeah, that's another one of those, business centers, I guess. That's what it's becoming. I mean, I remember growing up in the Quequechan Club. My uncle ran the Quequechan Club for a long time, and a lot of the pictures on the walls were actually made by my uncle.
Yeah.
So, you're looking at these people, they went to Merrimack College, they went to Bridgewater State University and AIU in Florida, and then they came back to Greater Fall River. Why? Maybe they couldn't get a job in Florida. Maybe they couldn't get a job somewhere else because they don't want to work.
Well, they couldn't afford the rent. They had to come back to their parents' basements.
But, like this Mr. Arujo, Nathan Arujo says, living away for a time makes you realize you take a lot for granted when you're here. Fall River is so centrally located. No, we are. Nobody argues that point. Nobody argues the point that we are a centrally located area. We're 20 minutes from Providence, an hour from the far end of the Cape, an hour from Boston, 3 hours from New York. We're right on two major throughways, which is the 195 and 24. We're 30 minutes away from Newport. But be realistic when you look at this. When you're coming over the Braga Bridge on 195 and you say, oh, honey, look, we're coming into Fall River. I wonder what there's to do there. And you Google it, okay? Heroin, safe sites, detox centers. But honey, if we go 30 minutes down the road on 24 South, we can get to Newport. And they've got Cliff Walk, and they've got, you know...
a casino.
Yeah, they've got a casino. They've got everything we need. Oh, and by the way, honey, they just opened a casino in Tiverton, which is right outside of Fall River. So get on 24 South, get off on Route 81, and go right into the casino. We don't have to stop at Fall River and worry about the heroin junkies. This is what people see about Fall River. They see shootings on a regular basis. And these millennials aren't going to change that. That's not going to change it. Market rate housing is not going to change this. As long as we keep bringing in derelicts, people who don't want to work, and people who live pipe dreams, which a majority of the millennials are, guess what? We're not going to move Fall River anywhere because you can't make it in Fall River. You lose it in Fall River. The only people that make it in Fall River are the people who are, number one, politically connected, in other words, political whores.
Or drug dealers.
Drug dealers and the detox centers.
And
that's what makes it in Fall River.
You know, as far as market rate housing, I have to disagree. I do believe that the market rate housing will have a lot of people who are interested in moving to Fall River. But the problem with that is they're all going to be employees of the Tiverton Casino. We're not spending any money in Fall River other than the rent. And the only reason they'll get market rate housing in Fall River is because it's 10 minutes away from their job at the casino.
Yeah, but I really don't think they will. Why are they going to rent for, unless you missed the real estate meeting, why are they going to rent for $2,000 a month?
$2,000 a month?
$2,000 a month. $1,500 to $2,000 a month. That is a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
Why are they? Oh, well, they're going to get a gym. Oh, they're going to get a pool. They're going to get, you know, some great amenities. Well, guess what? A gym membership is $10 a month at Planet Fitness or WOW. Unless you want to go to someplace that's to pay $40 a month. That's still not going to make $1,500 a month worthwhile.
Although I will tell you, when I lived in Vicksburg, Mississippi, when my wife and I bought a house there for $26,000, and then the casinos came in, and we had 4 casinos, Harrah and I forget the name of the rest, but the price values of the area went crazy because all of the employees of the casino that came in from other places, because
they bought up the homes.
People, you know, they bought out the Mississippi Power and Light Company for a human resources office for the casino because it was right next to the casino.
Yeah.
And paid like $400,000 for a building that was worth $50.
Right.
So, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, get ready. Your tax rates are going to go up again.
Oh, well, we already know that. Just look at the fiscal year 18 budget. But, you know.
The fiction tale.
Yeah, exactly. The fairy tale. And now you have another political whore, okay? Senator Joe Menard, former Senator Joe Menard, who retired from the Senate and then had to come to Bristol Community College and get another job paying 6 figures.
Now, does she still work here?
Okay, no, she doesn't. Okay? So now they're going to name an overpass for her. And that overpass connects Freetown to Amazon. So guess what? I think they're going to call that the Menard Suicide Leap.
Yeah.
Especially 8, 9 years when Amazon moves out of Fall River because their lease is for 10 years, right when their TIF runs out. Their TIF runs out and their lease is over. In case people didn't realize that, Amazon doesn't own the building.
Nope.
Another company does. So we gave Amazon the TIF, but guess what? Amazon's not even benefiting from it. The guy who owns the building is. Because they sold the TIF.
Can you sell a TIF?
Yeah. You can sell your tax incentives. Okay? And then we're also going to name the small bridge which connects North Main Street to the golf course at the Fall River Country Club after Tetrol. He's been a very prominent golf, 30 years of a golf professional at the Fall River Country Club. So they're going to name the bridge after him, which I think is wonderful. So it will be interesting to see. Now for my lovely topic of the day. And I'm going to preface this very clearly from the political bull line that is paid to the voters. Last month, I was with the Massachusetts delegation from Fall River. Alan Sylvia, Mike Rodricks, Paul Schmidt, Carol Fiola. And I said to them last month, there is a bill being proposed in the House and the Senate to legalize drug injection houses, shooting galleries, I called them. Okay? The state is calling it a safe site. Okay? I have a problem with this. And again, Massachusetts, according to the headlines in Boston.com, Massachusetts is moving closer to opening a safe injection site for drug users. And then when you go over to the Boston Globe says Massachusetts needs safe injection sites. And this picture, the headline picture from the Globe is of totes that has tourniquets, syringes, alcohol wipes, bandages, you name it, it's all there. And the drug addict, the junkie, walks around with a tray to put everything in it.
So it's just like going to a buffet at the old.
Yeah, this is
like
a
going to
shooter
the
gallery
country
buffet.
inn.
Yep, this is a shooter gallery buffet. Now, here's what I want the people to understand about this project very clearly. If we're going to do this, then make heroin legal. Because by doing this, the state and the state taxpayer will be supporting the drug trade. You will allow drug dealers to sell to these junkies their heroin. And we, in turn, will give them a place to use their crap and get stoned. And if they overdose, we will provide the services on site to bring them out of that overdose. This will be taxpayer dollars funding a poor behavior, funding addiction, not funding treatment, funding addiction. And any House member or senator who votes for this bill should immediately be removed from office. If your town has a recall provision, get them the hell out of Dodge. They are offering 2 sites as pilot sites for this project. And you'll notice I'm getting loud with this because I'm getting pissed. Pissed is an understatement. They're offering 2 pilot sites. Guess what site isn't there? Boston's not there because the mayor of Walsh turned around and says, I don't want that in my backyard. I don't want that in my city. This is wrong. This is wrong.
Well, according to page 2, it says at least one city in the state would have to be willing to host it, and it hasn't gone anywhere in the session because nobody has stood up and said we want it in our city. It's a classic example of NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Right, but here's somebody who does
before
one.
Starr says to the mayor.
I was going to say there's already somebody in this whole thing that wants it. It's going to be Starr.
Yep.
It's going to be SSTAR.
And our good friend
Nancy Paul.
And also the mayor will definitely sign on to this.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, they want to put another clinic down the north end anyway.
They want to put it on Weaver Street.
Yeah, so they'll probably put this right next to it.
That's right. Because remember, under the public records request, SSTAR does not have any additional licenses coming. They don't have an application pending for this new building they want.
I know.
They haven't even gotten a determination of need yet on it.
I was just going to say the determination of needs missing.
Right, it's not there. But they want to do it. Why? So they can make a shooting gallery.
Yep.
So I want you all to think about this for a moment. Your tax dollars are going to go and pay for a junkie to buy their crap, come back to your tax dollar funded building, which will be staffed by a nurse, an EMS person, and other medical professionals.
Who have Narcan available.
Who will have Narcan available, which, by the way, if you want Narcan, go to 310 South Main Street. Seven Hills has it free of charge. You can get it and throw your Narcan parties, which they're doing, by the way, in Fall River. They are throwing Narcan parties. But by doing this, we're paying for these people to buy their illegal drugs from drug dealers.
With no taxes.
With no taxes. Now, here's the kicker. When Europe did away with drug control, guess what happened?
Illegal narcotics went down.
Illegal narcotics almost stopped.
Yeah.
Because you can walk into the pharmacy and say, hey, I need a fix. Give me 5 bags.
Yep.
And it's pharmaceutical grade.
And
so it's clean. It's not cut with some crap.
Yep. And it's taxed.
And it's taxed. Now, the problem that we have is that the libtards, okay, and there are a bunch of them that watch this show, even though they always say, we don't watch your show.
Yeah,
the libtards are saying, oh, but we got to save Johnny's life. Johnny might overdose and he might die. Well, then Johnny shouldn't have been using the junk.
We just hope Johnny has life insurance to pay for the funeral.
That's right. And I'm sorry if you think that that's crass and rude and uncaring. But when little Johnny has gotten 15 doses of Narcan this week, I think little Johnny's sending you a message. The message is either I don't want to live,
or I need help badly.
Or I need help badly and nobody's willing to help me get it. So why don't you try first on seeing if we can get Johnny into a detox center and providing him the services he needs.
But there's no bed in Fall River. They'll have to go to Worcester or somewhere
There's never
else.
a bed in Fall River because everyone that's having the Fall River beds is from somewhere else.
I know. That's why, there's no beds for our people.
Exactly. Well, there never will be either. But my problem here is that we cannot tolerate this.
No, absolutely not.
We cannot allow this. I'm going to ask all of our viewers to write a letter to your House representative or senator, Senator Michael Rodrigues, or whoever your senator is.
And if you want to contact them, they probably have a rent-free office at the Fall River Government
That's
Center.
true, too, if you want to just go in person.
Except for State Representative Alan Sylvia, who pays his own way. You have to give him credit for
No,
that.
State Representative Carol Fiola has her own office on North Main Street as well. So
And the
those are
county
the two
commissioners.
representatives that pay. The other two political
Yep.
individuals don't pay rent.
And the State Senator Rodrigues, he likes free rent so well, he's got 2 offices, one here in Fall River and one in Somerset, next to State Representative Patricia Haddad.
Who also doesn't pay rent.
Yes.
So,
I want to be a state rep so I get a free office.
yeah, exactly. And get to keep the money for the office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Now send a letter to them telling them that you are adamantly opposed to this Safe Site program. That you don't want to support illegal drug dealing, because that's what this will do. This will support illegal drug dealing, because we're going to provide an area where they can shoot these drugs up. We're not providing the drugs. We're only providing the area. They've got to get the drugs from somewhere, which means they're buying them illegally from somewhere.
And, CJ, the other thing is also contact the governor's office, because in this article on page 2, it says Governor Charlie Baker would have to issue an executive order allowing for a pilot program to move forward. So definitely reach out to the governor.
But it's not only that. It is not only that.
We need to shut this down as quickly as we can.
But it's not only that. You also need federal approval.
Why? We have marijuana, which is illegal under federal law.
No, but you need federal approval for this. That's a whole different scenario here. This is
definitely under illegal.
Yeah,
this is
right.
illegal in
now,
both state and federal systems.
The only two countries that have this are the Netherlands and Canada. And I spoke to the Canadian Health Ministry against this program in Canada. Nobody is getting better by doing this. This is enforcing their bad behavior. This is reinforcing their bad behavior. And this is taking away all negative outcomes from bad choices. If I take my hand and I burn it on a pot, I don't touch the pot again without a glove on or having a pot holder. Because I learned that's a negative consequence. When a child keeps touching the stove and getting burned, they don't touch the stove. But if they kept touching the stove and not getting burned, they'd keep touching the stove. That's what we're doing. We're letting them touch the stove, but they're not getting burned anymore. There's no negative consequence. Why do we do this? Why do we allow this? And why do you, the people, let it happen? Why? And you know, I understand a lot of you bleeding heart libtards can't get past the fact that your son or daughter or nephew or niece or cousin or father or whoever, brother, may have a drug problem. And you want to offer them every opportunity to remain alive. But when you shovel that much crap against the tide, it just keeps coming back. The reality must set in. You need to take off the rose-colored glasses. You need to put on the reality glasses, and you need to say, is this worth it? Is this project going to be worth millions and millions of dollars a year? In the past 24 months, we have spent on heroin addiction too many millions to count. We're past the double-digit millions. We're into the triple-digit millions. And we're going into the trillion mark very soon, federally. And what has it accomplished? Nothing. People are still dying. And when you have media outlets like the Herald News, which are turning around writing articles about the faces of addiction, on the few people who bounce back and do well, that does not serve as an incentive to the people who are using, because guess what? They're not reading the paper. They're using strips of it to heat up the drug so they can put it into a syringe and stick it in their arm. They're not reading it, they're burning it. Are you really that obtuse? Are you really that dense? Are you that thick that you can't see that you, the viewer, you are causing this? You are allowing this. You are causing this to happen. I'm pointing my finger at you. I'm telling you now, this is your fault. As long as you support these programs, you are the cause of opiate deaths. Require our police departments to arrest the dealers. Require our police departments to arrest those using. Take them in and send them to detox. There are provisions in the law which allow you to do it. Utilize those provisions of the law. Because guess what? I'm tired of seeing people die because the people in Fall River and the people in Massachusetts and the people in this country are so liberal and so libtardish that they cannot get their heads out of their rectums. I hope the picture that you're seeing there is much better than the picture I'm seeing in reality. That's my diatribe.
Okay, now it's my turn. This morning before I came down to the studio, I was watching some of the Michelle Carter trial from Taunton. And let me tell you something. All these text messages and all these Facebooks that you're posting, if you think that's a good thing, ask Michelle Carter if she thinks text messaging that Mr. Roy was a good thing. Because now I watched the witness this morning. They were going back to text messages from 2013, 2012. Well, did Michelle tell you that she liked Alice a lot? And well, wasn't there a Facebook post? Let me tell you something. Facebook is the lawyer's best friend. Go on workers' comp, and then go on Facebook saying, "Oh, I went swimming in the Bahamas," or "I went bowling last night and got 5 hole-in-ones," or whatever, you know, strikes or whatever you call them. Lawyers love Facebook. It's one of the best things in the world ever happened to a lawsuit. And these texts, you think you're going to erase the text? It's gone. Ask Michelle Carter how many texts are gone. And if she ends up doing 20 years for that, all because that dumbass, you know, oh, it's First Amendment. Well, once you can send it to somebody else, the First Amendment's gone.
Actually, text messaging and phone calls actually must be retained by the telecommunications provider.
I know.
Under the Homeland Security Acts, the Patriot Act.
The Patriot Act is the worst thing ever happened to this country.
I agree. But further, how many people out there have on their cell phones the Facebook Messenger? All those apps you put on your phone, the one thing that many of you don't realize, because nobody reads those terms of service, you give them total access to all the data on your phone. Now, you don't own the data on Facebook. In the terms of service, if you read it, Facebook owns it. Facebook's servers, as soon as you post it, save it multiple times on multiple servers.
Yep.
It's never gone, even if you delete it.
And once you upload the picture of you and your girlfriend doing whatever, that's now a public record belonging to Facebook.
It's not a public record.
It's not a public record, but you have just given all licensing, all ownership rights to Facebook.
And that's what people don't understand about these terms of service agreements. Yeah, they don't understand these terms of service. It's just like your emails. Your emails aren't private.
No.
Your ISP, your internet service provider, must maintain those records for a period of 10 years or more.
Thank you, Patriot Act.
Okay? The state must maintain all email records. What is it, 7, 10?
I think it's 10.
It's 10 years. And they need a special order to delete the records.
And you know, the funny part is a lot of the public officials and employees of many governments in this area, you send them an email and they delete it, it's still backed up.
That's
it's
right.
Still available
but you know, here's the real
kicker. Because it has to be archived on the state records.
But here's the real kicker, and I really wanted to just slap around the open meeting law people, because they rendered a decision saying there was no violation on a complaint where the mayor allegedly texted every single city councilor.
I know.
And they all made a decision, and they all denied it. Well, why didn't the Attorney General's office ask for the text messaging records?
Yep.
They're there. They're saved for 10 years. Because that's something public officials also don't understand. Your emails, your texting, your phone call records are all public record. They're all subject to a 6610 request.
And by the way, according to Facebook, I'm in Las Vegas right now at the Circus eating at the buffet.
Yeah, how is that food, by the way?
And, you know, the funny thing is that that could be used against me in a court, saying, well, weren't you at the Circus at 11 o'clock on June 7th? Well, your Facebook says you were.
But you're right here saying you're not. So,
yep. I mean, we have a video of this show saying I'm here, but
you know, yeah, you do have to laugh about some of it. And I'm not going to apologize for getting all heated, people, earlier. But I'll tell you now, if you don't start getting heated about some of this stuff, you're never going to have a safe community.
You know, and one last thing.
And if they decide to put a safe site in Fall River, we're dead in the water.
And one last thing, you know, the election season is on. 3 of the school committee members appear not to be running for re-election. Melissa Pansley hasn't decided yes or no, but the other 2 have said no. And it's very quiet for an election year.
Yeah, I'm wondering what's going on. I'm waiting to have the other shoe drop. Right. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop because right now it has been too quiet.
6th floor, go get your papers.
Yeah.
You got till July 21st.
Well,
it's a long time.
On Friday, Chip will be back, and I know you're all waiting to see him. And it should be a rather interesting show Friday. One other thing, we have a big political whore in Government Center. Mary Sahadi took a full-time job in Fall River because she wants the health benefits when she retires. Because she's been 20 years with the Housing Authority as a commissioner, which is part of the retirement system, but she didn't qualify for health benefits when she retired because she didn't do it. Again, political welfare.
But Chip will have more on that on Friday.
That's why I'm lining it up. Hey, people, have a great day, and we'll see you on Friday. Stay angry.
Take care, folks.